Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to day 3 of Halloween week 2020, all about fear. Still super fun for me to say. So today I'm going to be talking about the fear of failure. I purposely chose this to be after fear of judgment because they are very similar, but they can also be very, very different. In this video, I'm going to be talking about right versus wrong and our misconceptions about them, perfectionism and how it can sneakily be explained away instead of us dealing with it head on. And I'm going to give you some of my favorite tips to help you overcome your fear of failure. Right versus wrong. Guess what? There isn't a right or wrong. It's only an opinion, also known as a thought, not a fact. Something that may be right for you could be wrong for someone else. You only get to decide for yourself, not for others. This goes back to our conversation about manuals yesterday. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and check it out. It's a good one. By living by these imaginary manuals, it creates this division that we're seeing in our world today. And there are plenty of examples of this as well, right? Sex before marriage, dyeing your hair pink, getting a tattoo or a piercing, veganism, polyamory, and even murder. So I'm assuming that me saying murder in this regard to right and wrong brought up some emotions, but stick with me. Taking a life is not always considered murder. Therefore, by itself, it is not a fact, because not everyone in the world agrees on the definition in differing circumstances. One person committed murder as a crime of passion, and another shoots a burglar after giving a warning. Two very different circumstances, but in both cases, a person killed another person on purpose. Some of you may be shocked by me saying this. That's okay. You also may be screaming at your computer. Also okay. But if this is you, I want you to really think about what I said a couple of minutes ago. Something that may be right for you may not be right for someone else. We can only control and make decisions for ourselves. Additionally, this can also play out with processes. There is a right or a wrong way to do something. But guess what? It's also false. All false. What if there weren't a right or a wrong way to do something? I see this in the coaching industry a lot. A lot of coaches focus on action plans and accountability. Definitely not bad things, but oftentimes we make it mean that there's a right or a wrong way to succeed or fail. This is why in my practice, I focus on thought work, because once you can flip that switch and not look at it as right or wrong, your creativity, problem solving, and energy just start to flow. There are no mistakes. There's only limitless opportunities and possibilities before you once you can make that switch. All right, let's talk about perfectionism. So perfectionism is a powerful belief that there is only a right or a wrong way to do something or behave a certain way. Hence why I talked about right versus wrong a couple minutes ago. But what I want to focus on here is that there are many ways that perfectionism shows up in our lives, such as people pleasing, spending several hours on a project that could have been done in an hour, guilty, or even getting overwhelmed by the inability to finish a task perfectly, which results in procrastination, also guilty. Thinking of your own life, how does perfectionism show up? For me, I took it to an extreme and I called it a strength. And it sounded like detail oriented and passionate about my work and very well organized. None of those descriptions are bad, right? And I do still consider them my strengths, but I lost balance and used that as an excuse to perpetuate my own perfectionistic tendencies. Additionally, I used to let other people make decisions so that if something went wrong or didn't go as I wanted or expected, it wasn't my fault. Not my problem. Not my fault. It's yours. As you can imagine, not healthy at all. But I became completely passive and found myself being very unhappy, and I felt like my life wasn't my own. I didn't have any control over my life. I gave away all of my personal power and empowerment and gave it away due to my mindset about perfectionism and my fear of failure. So, one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever received about perfectionism is this: it's more important that it is imperfect and done rather than perfect and not done. Think about that. All right, let's move on to tips on how to conquer your fear of failure. Tip number one: make conscious choices and decisions and then let go. Whatever decision or choice you make is the right choice for you in that moment. Does that mean it's going to work out like you have it perfectly constructed in your head? Maybe. I don't know. Not necessarily. And that's okay. If it doesn't work the way you want, you can always make another decision and go a different direction. So start with wherever you're at. I mean, you can start super small, and even with things like small little things that you do every single day. So make conscious choices to take a shower, to brush your teeth, to go grocery shopping, to make something to eat for yourself, for your family. You don't have to do any of those, but you can make a conscious choice to do them. By making conscious and deliberate decisions, you start to reprogram your brain by giving it evidence that you can try something and succeed or learn. Your brain will gain more evidence that you follow through on your decisions and choices with action rather than sitting in indecision or letting someone else choose for you. Tip number two: define what failure means to you and get as specific as you possibly can. If your definition of failure involves someone else, try it again and make it all about you. What do you do? What don't you do? How do you react? How do you want to react? Like, this is super important because, like I've mentioned a lot over the past couple of days, is you can only control yourself. That's it. So now, think about and redefine what you want failure to mean. No one is perfect, including you, including me, but we don't have to judge ourselves for not being perfect. And this is why defining failure to see where you're currently at and then redefining it will help you overcome that fear of failure. All right, tip three. So again, I mentioned it before, let's have compassion. Consciously choose to have compassion towards yourself, no matter the struggles, successes, failures, wins, outcomes, or results. Remember, you can be compassionately curious about yourself and make a new decision anytime you want to. Anytime. You have that power. You are in control. I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes of all time from Thomas Edison when he was inventing the light bulb. He said, "I've not failed 10,000 times. I've not failed once. I have succeeded in proving those 10,000 ways will not work." So think whatever power you believe in, that he managed his mind, and we now have lights in our life. But I just love the idea of this quote of, again, it goes back into redefining the failure and making conscious decisions. Like when I read this quote, that's what this reminds me of. And that's why I love it. All right, thank you all so much for joining me as I discussed fear of failure. Don't forget to like and share so more people see this. Continue to let that magic of this week spread to everyone who needs to hear it, which is everybody. This is such a common fear. Everyone deals with it. Therefore, everyone needs to hear about it. So leave me your questions or your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to keep talking about this with you. I would also love to know how you guys have differentiated fear of judgment and fear of failure in your own lives. So let me know. I've done a lot of thought work around this concept, and it's changed my life. It's absolutely changed my life. I'm a completely different person. So yes, this does still pop up from time to time. That's okay. I don't let it control me and turn me into a person who's just passively going through life. I've redefined my failure. I've made conscious decisions and consciously choose the decision of the new definition of failure over and over and over again. This is how I've overcome fear of failure. For the most part, like I said, still comes up, but I got it. I got this. So I know that this fear of failure is really big. And it's really big for a lot of people. So if you're struggling with fear of failure or you feel like you're living a passive life, please message me or please go to my website, coachwithcam.com, and schedule a free consult. Like I said, I know what it's like to go through this. And I can say it is so much easier when you have someone else on your side to help you understand your thoughts versus your facts, and someone who's there to support you and offer you compassion. Thank you all again. I hope you guys got some value out of the video and the content today. Again, like, share, spread the word. This message needs to be heard, guys. The shit is life-changing. Life-changing. So share it. It's amazing. Oh my God, I love it. Have a great day, evening, night, afternoon, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. Just enjoy it and make conscious decisions.